Hey, what's going on, guys? Another knife review. Today we're looking at a Benchmade. Very cool Benchmade. Alright, we got the box here. You can see this is a Nakamura design. Okay, the 484S. Because this one has the partially serrated blade. Now, I got the partially serrated blade because I really wanted to see what the M390 was going to do with serrations, because I've never experienced that before. Have some experience, but limited with M390 in general. But before this knife, no experience at all with the serrations. So that's why I went with the combo edge. You guys know more times than not, I will go with a straight plain edge. But as far as the box and goodies, normal stuff, you get the Benchmade pouch and the paperwork and your regular, blue box. So remove that from the scene. I got this knife from Knifehog. Knifehog it's a pretty cool company. It's kind of new. I have gotten stuff from them before, but recently I got 3 different knives from them that I wanted to test. I got a Spyderco. I'm not gonna let the cat out of the bag as to which one. I got this particular knife, and I also picked up the H&K knife that I showed, the 14410, I believe it is. Very, very cool knives. I've actually been really happy with all 3 of them. This one was, it's definitely a little bit more pricey. These are coming in around the $190 mark. I did talk to the owner of Knifehog, and they threw me a discount code for you guys if you're interested. Your first purchase from the website, if you use the code CUTLOVE, C-U-T-L-O-V-E, all in capital letters, you get 5% off your order. So I thought that was really cool. Some of the knives are very, very well priced over there, and you get free shipping on everything, which is pretty cool. Love supporting the small companies. But anyway, yeah, I was really impressed with this knife. There's 2 things that stood out with this, and these are only things that you would know from using the knives. And I can't stress this enough. When you're doing a knife review, you got to use your stuff, because if you don't use your stuff, you can't give these little tidbits that people really should know. And the 2 ones, because this is a great knife. It's a really nice knife. Of course, the M390 is going to perform phenomenally in most cases, as long as it's properly heat treated, and of course by Benchmade, you're not going to have too many issues. Benchmade's had some quality control issues in the last couple of years as far as like fit and finish. Some of their models have some blade play. This has nothing, but it seems to be a crapshoot these days. Some of their newer knives, even like their base Scriptillions and stuff, they're getting a little wobbly. I don't know what it is, but hopefully they get their stuff together. But this one was a perfect specimen as far as the fit and finish. But back to the 2 issues that I have with this one, and you would only know this from using the knife. The first thing is, you can see it has the ambidextrous thumb studs, so thumb studs on both sides, but they're kind of a longer stud. And just because of the way this knife is designed overall, there were 2 occasions that I can remember where the knife started to open up a little bit in taking it out of the pocket. I think it's just because of the the style of thumb stud on here. When you're pulling this out of the pocket, you can see it's tip up, how it's orientated when you get the knife. You're pulling it out, and now the pocket material is against the handle here. You see where the end of the pocket clip ends and when the thumb stud starts? Now, if you were to twist this way, the material, let's say my finger is the pants material, right? It's underneath the clip, it's coming off. Now that material hits that thumb stud and almost acts like a wave feature, okay? Now, these aren't big enough where you can purposely do this. I know that might be appealing to someone. The wave function is pretty cool, and if you can consistently do that to wave this open, that'd be really awesome, but it's not like that. It's not long enough to be consistent, but it's not small enough to have this not be an issue. So although extremely rare, you guys should be aware of the fact that this could open in the pocket if you're pressing the material that way. So when you're grabbing this knife, my recommendation or suggestion is to twist it the opposite direction. Twist it in to the seam a little when you're pulling it out, okay? Just a heads up, like I said, I don't know how many times I took it out of the pocket. Only twice it really it grabbed enough where I really noticed it. Kind of opened up a little bit. Never like fully opened, but definitely opened up a little bit, and could have damaged the pants. Obviously could have been an injury to your hand, or whatever's around you. So yeah, the profile on these thumb studs is a little bit big, and with this design could be an issue with opening it. Besides that, with heavy use on this knife, there's a little bit of a hot spot behind the axis lock here, okay? All the corners on this, on the scales, they're not sharp by any means, but they are squared off. Okay, what I mean by that is there's a little bit of pressure on your fingers and your skin when you're really, you know, digging down deep in that. If you're cutting some boxes open, natural grip, loose grips like this, I mean, it's not really gonna be much of an issue. Even if you're choking up and stuff, you're not gonna feel that. But I'm talking about when you have this in your hand like this, okay, and you're cutting through cardboard and plastic, whatever other medium, and you're really kind of putting a lot of pressure on that knife. A little uncomfortable in the webbing of my hand up here, and I do believe that's from the back here, just because of the fact that it's not directly like a 90-degree angle, but it definitely could have been rounded more, all the way around, not just in this spot. It's the only spot I had any issues with, but the entire scales could have been rounded a little bit. If you notice, there's full stainless liners in this. All right, G10 scales. The liners are not drilled at all, so you do get the extra weight, okay? 3.52 ounces overall, which is not bad, but it could have been lighter. It is somewhat of a wider design. I wouldn't call it chunky, but it's definitely not slimline. But it has really good ergos. Having a consistent finger choil all the way down the handle is tricky. If you don't shape them right, it'll be awkward, and depending on the size of your fingers, if you have really large hands, your fingers won't fit into these little grooves, and what will happen was you'll have these pressure points, and the tips of all these choils will actually be pushing against your finger and be uncomfortable. So very comfortable. Let's say you had really, really big hands, everything would shift a little, and now it's very uncomfortable. Be a complete opposite. But ergos for the average person is going to be very nice. It's very comfortable to use in you know, a multitude of different grips. Our blade is just over 3 inches. My own measurements was dead on 3 inches from the top of the handle. Again, an M390 steel. It is a super steel. Rockwell 60 to 62. This is a 0.11 inch stock. All right, M390 is wonderful. It's up there. It's with some of the crazy super steels. It surpasses S30V, and I'm a big fan of S30V. All right, so holds a fantastic edge. This thing is still razor sharp since I got it. Did tons and tons of cutting with it. I do strop it. Obviously, the plain edge. The serrations are still very, very sharp. All right, the serrations aren't. I don't want to say they're the factory edge. After all the use I put on them, they did dull up a little bit, but they're still really, really sharp. Put it this way: after collectively maybe 2 hours of cutting, actually maybe not that much. Altogether with the serrations, I have maybe an hour, but that's a lot of time. I mean, really put it in perspective, an hour, you know, collectively is a lot of time on a knife as far as usage, and it has dulled out, but it's still sharper than a lot of knives come brand new out of the box. So it's saying something about the steel. You know, there's plenty of information out there on M390. I might do a specific video on that in the future, talking about the different elements and composition and stuff like that. But if you've been around knives for long enough, or for a while, you'll know M390 speaks for itself. All right, and in this particular case, that's exactly what I got. I would like pretty much every knife I like. I would love in M390 or M4. M4 does perform a little bit better though, at least in, you know, the knives that I've used. This is a Nakamura design. All right, when this knife came out, a lot of people were really excited just because it was a little bit of a difference in you know, in knife, you know, style overall than what we're used to seeing. But another thing I do like about this a lot is just the little collar. These are subtle details. I mean, obviously the cutouts in the handle scales, I think it's appealing looking. It doesn't do anything for grip. I mean, you know, the finger choils, of course, give that ergonomic feel, but this does nothing for grip. But visually, it looks very nice. This has a very Asian look to it overall, in my opinion. This very much reminds me of bamboo. All right, the little collar in here is a very nice touch. I showed a custom knife recently where a guy did a carbon fiber collars around the pivot. Just a super nice little detail. All right, all the hardware, of course, is going to be our Torx. You'll see the maker's mark or logo right there, and the M390 on top. Little jimping on here and a slight thumb ramp. It locks in very nicely for cutting. And of course, there's that little bit of curvature there. It's nice for your pointer finger if you're going to be cutting in that manner. And I do like the swedge. I like pretty much any knife is even better with a swedge. I love the design. So super cool. Pocket clip, of course, like I said, is right hand carry tip up. It's swappable for left hand carry, but not for tip down, okay? So if you're like most people, you will have no problem with that because most people like a tip up knife anyway. That's pretty much it, guys. One last note on this. I really like this knife, and the M390s would put it over the edge for me. Just an awesome, awesome steel. But in my experience, both M390 as well as S110V, they don't perform that great with a really super polished edge. I think you have to kind of rough them up a little bit to get the performance you're really gonna want out of them. They're awesome, super premium steels. But just as a quick note, I've had two different cases, this one included, where I stropped it up, and after using it just to kind of maintain that, and I put a little bit of a polished edge on it, not much at all. I think I was using 1000 grit paper, but it made it a little bit too slick. There is such a thing as a knife being too sharp, and it sounds ridiculous, but yeah, when you get that edge so incredibly fine, it tends to slide off of things as opposed to bite down into them and cut them. So anyway, just a quick note. But that's it. Again, got this from Knifehog. If you guys are going to head over there and pick something out across the entire site, there's that 5% coupon code. It is CUTLOVE, all capitals. So hopefully you guys will save some money using that. So thanks for watching the review. I really appreciate your time as always, and hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you soon.